Welcome back, SethBling here. I'm in Hypixel and my Team Fortress 2 Dustbowl map, all alone. I wanted to do a bit of a developer commentary, go over a lot of the features of the game, and explain them. So I'm basically just going to go through all of the features of the game. So the first thing you do when you want to start the game is, of course, press the Start Game button. And that will open up these red and blue doors. And these doors weren't open before. Oops. And so basically, if you want to pick a class for one, if you want to join one of the teams, you go through one of the doors. So there's attackers is blue, and then defenders is red. I'll go over to attackers, and when you step on this pressure plate, it'll close the door behind you. So it's actually really hard to get multiple people in this room, this class selection room, which is nice because if you have multiple people in this room, the command blocks won't take that very well because the command blocks are looking for the closest player, and if there's two people in the room, it's just can really throw it off. So there's Scout, Soldier, Pyro, Demo, Heavy, Medic, Sniper, and Spy. I'm going to go through all of them in order and talk about what they have, their features, and yeah, just talk about them. Talk about some of the design decisions that went in there. So first thing you'll notice is as the Scout, I'm going very, very fast. I have this Speed 2 potion effect that lasts about 2 minutes. I also have a bunch of gear. Since I'm on the blue team, of course, I have blue armor. I have a green helmet because that's the color for Scout that I've chosen. And the hat has projectile protection too. Of course, in TF2, there's this whole big deal about hats, and I don't know. But so your power all comes from your hat, and that's why each class has an enchanted hat, and that's where their main protection comes from. Now I also have a bow and arrow, and just one arrow, and a strength potion, strength 2. So bow has infinity 1, so just this one arrow is enough to allow me to use this bow. Sharpness 2 wooden sword is pretty weak, although this strength 2 potion lasts 2 minutes or a minute and a half, and it actually combined with the wooden sword makes the class actually quite strong. So you can see the time is about to start on the mission, and so the gates open. And we can go through and move on down the map. And again, this class is very fast. Now, at the beginning of the match, it is actually possible for that Speed 2 to run out before you die, but that's not the hugest deal. But yeah, so this potion is supposed to be like Criticola in the game, which allows the Scout to get a lot of critical hits, which is what it mimics. But basically, when we were playtesting, the Scout class was just way too weak. Even though you could run fast, you would just die really fast, and you couldn't kill anyone. So we added that strength potion, and it seemed to pick it up a lot. So here's the first control point on the map. When you step on it, the lights start lighting up, and there's note blocks to play. If you step off, then it resets. So if you get shot off or hit off or die, then you'll have to go start from scratch. It takes about 5 seconds, and you can see there's a message that appears that says Blue captured first cap stage 1. Time has been added. So by default, the blue team has 10 minutes, and then when you capture the first capture point, you get an extra 5 minutes. And if red team is able to keep you from capturing both points before the time runs up, then they win. So there's also these med packs throughout the map, and basically if the light is lit up, you can stand on the pressure plate, and you'll get a health splash potion. I couldn't really see my health increase because I was at full health. And these will recharge after a few seconds. There are actually 2 kinds of these stations. Some will give you a little bit of health, and some will give you a lot. This one will give you a little bit, and it recharges a little bit faster. Health pack respawns a little bit faster. You'll notice if I just go ahead and kill myself, when I respawn, I get another strength potion, so you get that every time you spawn. And you'll probably want to drink that because it's actually quite powerful. It also says 13 minutes remaining, so every 1 minute it'll tell you how much time is left. So if you're not sure how much time is left, kind of keep your eye on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen for those messages. There's also a supply closet in each spawn, and if you step on this, it'll give you a lot of health and also some steak. So this is the only source of food on the map. Generally, I just grab a couple of pieces of steak at the beginning of the game, and I'll just have those with me. Now, the keep inventory game rule is on, so that's why I'm keeping all my armor and weapons and everything, all my gear, everything, even the steak, from round to round. And okay, so that's about it for Scout. So there's this change class/team button in each spawn point, and if you press that, that'll remove all your items, it'll kill you, and it'll bring you back to the main server spawn. And so now you can change team if you want, and you can also change class. So I'll go in the red one, and I'm just going to move on to the next class. It's Soldier. Alright, here's a bunch of gear. Now notice I'm getting red armor because I chose the red team. I'm also in a different spawn point with kind of this tower, if you look up. And I've got a gray helmet. That's the color for the Soldier. Protection 4, Projectile Protection 2. This is one of the best helmets in the game. So Soldier has a lot of hit points, a lot of defense. Okay, so we've got a Sharpness 2 Iron Sword, which is pretty good, and then a Power 3 Bow, which is one of the best bows in the game because soldiers have a really good ranged attack. Sort of long distance range attack. And no potion effects or anything, no consumables that they get each time. It's a pretty straightforward class. Yeah, so this is the point of view from the defenders. If I go all the way down here, I'll show you actually the first control point. So you'll have to explore the map for yourself to really figure everything out. There's some side passages and stuff too. But yeah, this is the first control point. You'll see it's still lit up for blue. There's no way of capturing this back for red. Once blue team captures it, they have it for good. And then, so blue team would come along this way. I'm red, but I want to show you something so that you don't make a mistake in the game. I'm on red team, but and blue team is trying to capture this point. But if I stand on this point, it's still going to light up. You'll notice it's going a lot faster too. The second cap point in each stage goes a lot faster. So if somebody on red team accidentally stands on this pressure plate, they can actually cap it for blue. So make sure you don't do that because you'll get your teammates yelling at you for helping the other team. But so if you do that, you'll move on to the second stage. And I'm gonna go ahead and change classes. So this is the second stage of the game. This is just this is the change class/team button for the second stage. For the red team in the second stage, that is. And let's see. I'm going to go back to blue. So that was Soldier. Here's Pyro. Pyro is also pretty straightforward. Just gets a bow and arrow and a sword. And has this orange helmet. Pretty good protection. Protection 3, projectile protection 1. It also gets fire protection 5, which helps out against enemy pyros. Or if you accidentally light yourself on fire with with a bow somehow. I don't know, that's possible, I guess. Oops. Come on. There we go. Oh, wait. Oh, I missed, I guess. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, there we go. So it'll help. You notice I'm not taking so much damage from the fire. And yeah, so the bow has flame 1, the sword has fire aspect 1, and sharpness 3. It's actually quite a high impact sword. But yeah, Pyro's pretty straightforward, but it's a lot of fun to play, and it can be really annoying to the enemy team if they keep getting shot with fire, because it obstructs your view and stuff. But that mimics the actual game pretty well. So let's move on. Here's Demo. Demo actually gets quite a bit of stuff. So let me go over it. You get the blue armor, of course. Whoops. Yellow helmet signifies Demo. Protection 3, projectile protection 2, very good armor. And blast protection 5, which doesn't actually do anything, because there are no blasts in this game. It gets a punch 1 bow and a knockback 3 sword. That's actually a lot of knockback. So these are supposed to simulate like explosions on contact. So it's like a explosive tipped bow, arrows or whatever, and I don't know. Okay, so then you also get these damage potions. These are actually, I've seen a lot of people use these as the main weapon for the demo. You get 4 stacks of them, which is quite a lot. Although you can actually run out pretty fast. And oh, you'll notice that I'm on the blue team now. I have the blue armor, but I'm spawning where the red team was spawning in the first stage, but we're in the second stage. So that's intentional. When you move on to the second stage, the blue team starts spawning where the red team was spawning before. Same thing happens when you move on to the third stage. It's sort of like we're advancing farther down the map. This is even where that's right where the second cap in the first stage was. So Your sort of blue team is capturing these various spawn points. You can think of it that way. So you get these potions, and they're quite damaging. They have some knockback to them. They can be kind of tricky to use because your own team gets damaged by them. And in fact, if you're sprinting, you throw so weakly that you'll hit yourself, and you actually deal a lot of damage to yourself. So you gotta be careful about that. I can use this health pack here to recharge a bit. Let me just come up here to the first capture point. These can be really good on defense. I think they're probably best on defense, like spamming them near the point. You only get 4 stacks of them, so you can run out. You'll notice I've already used up a whole half stack, just kind of demonstrating stuff. But it's quite strong. If you do run out, you can actually press the change team button, and you'll be able to, you know, when you re-choose the class, you'll get another 4 stacks of potions. So if you run out, you can do that. I actually originally intended for it to be only 4 stacks for the entire game, and so you had to kind of conserve your splash potions. But when I added in the change class button, it changed the balance around that. There was no way to prevent people from getting more. So that's the way it is, but it's not really overpowered or anything. It's still, the potions you can't throw them that far. So a bow can easily outrange you if you're trying to kill people. Although against people who are trying to do close combat, it's really good because you can knock them back really repeatedly, and while dealing damage. So it's pretty good. I'm just going to capture the second capture point in the second stage here. You'll notice how fast it goes. It goes about twice as fast as the first capture point did. And that's intentional. That's because it's harder to get to the second capture point, especially because the actual Team Fortress 2 has teleporters in it, but there's no engineer class in this one. So it's kind of a balance mechanism. Now I'm spawning here. That's the capture point that I just captured. Whoops. Game. I just want to show you. Whoops. Game mode. Come on. Have problems. This is the capture point I just captured. So you'll notice that does kind of like give you the spawn point for the enemy team. It's kind of like you're moving down the map. I'm really bad at this. So this gate is closed. This gate will open when the match starts. And yep, so demo's a lot of fun to play though. It's kind of got a lot to it. It's probably the second most complicated class behind the spy. Yes, the gates will open right here. Just want to show you that. There we go. And so you can run down now. I will change my class though. We'll move on. And I believe the next class would be heavy. Yep, so I'll just go on the red team, I guess. Heavy. You'll notice, yeah, there's signs above each of the classes. Heavy. So Heavy's also pretty straightforward. Just gets a bow, arrow, and sword. But he also gets this slowness effect. So let's grab some steak. So he moves slowly. You're gonna want to jump a lot with this class when you're moving around because it helps speed it up a bit. And he also, the sword is much more powerful. His bow is not that strong. It's just power 1. But the sword is the only diamond sword in the game. Well, no, I guess Spy has one too. But it's got sharpness 2, and it's just a very strong sword. And the helmet is protection 5, projectile protection 2, strongest helmet in the game. So it takes a lot of hits to kill the heavy, but he moves around slowly. And since his main weapon is melee, it can be kind of hard to get in close. That's why you might take a lot of hits before you manage to get in close and actually get those melee attacks off. So it's kind of balanced. It's a lot like Soldier really, except Soldier kind of focuses more on ranged, whereas Heavy focuses more on melee. And it has that slowness effect too. So I'm just going to kill myself so I can get back to the spawn. Oh yeah, the other thing is whenever you spawn, not the first time for some reason, but whenever you spawn after that, you get a golden apple for the Heavy, which is sort of like your sandwich, which will heal some health and hunger. And so yeah, you get that every time you spawn. If I just kill myself again, I'll spawn. I love how you're able to respawn instantly in this game, you know, wearing your gear and everything, due to the keep inventory game rule. And I even have the golden apples. I didn't really want the heavy to be able to accumulate golden apples as they, you know, move on or die and respawn. But there's really no way to remove the extra golden apples, so that's the way it is. Hopefully with some future commands or something we'll be able to do that, but we'll see. So I'm going to change my class again, move on. The next class is going to be the medic, which is a support class. It's not really meant for much combat. I'm moving so fast now. It's great. So medic gets armor and weapons and a ton of health splash potions. On my armor, it gets a pink helmet. Heavy had a brown helmet, by the way. Okay, so there's these splash potions of healing. You get a lot of these, and that's really your main tool. The sword is sharpness 2, the bow is infinity 1. Helmet has decent protection, protection 3, projectile protection 2. But the splash potions of health are really the main thing, and you get a lot of them. So you can actually, this isn't actually my favorite mechanic in the game. You can actually kind of run straight at the enemy even when they're shooting at you and hitting you with good melee weapons, and you'll be able to survive with these health splash potions. It's just health level 1, but even still, you can just throw them so fast that it's impossible to kill you. So you can actually kind of get really close in the opponent's space. It's the only, I mean, you're not able to like hit people while you're doing this, so you can't really be dealing damage, but you can really distract people. Sometimes you can use these potions to get on their command point, and they're not able to kill you, so they'll just have to keep hitting you off of the command point. It can be pretty annoying, but you get a bunch of these. Again, if you run out, which you actually can do surprisingly, given how much you can spam these. If you run out, you can just use the change class button, because you don't get any new potions when you die. But that's medic. It's a nice support class. It can be useful for like healing snipers and soldiers and stuff who are shooting from afar. But your health potions will actually heal the enemy team too. So that can be actually a negative side effect of just rushing into the enemy team with the health potions. Alright, I'll move on to the second to last class, the sniper. Sniper is extremely straightforward, just has a good bow and crappy armor and melee weapons. So, sharpness 2 sword, wooden sword, and then power 5 punch 1 bow. Very strong, and armor is fine. It's not great, but it's not bad. So, not really much to it. Has a black helmet. It's useful to recognize all the helmet colors, just because if you see someone on the enemy team, you can decide whether or not to attack them at close range or what. If I see someone with a black helmet, I'll try and close the distance and melee them, because I know they don't have a good melee weapon. Alright, so the last class here is the spy, and this is the most complicated class. Kind of gets the most. You'll notice my inventory is already kind of full. I have an invisibility potion effect that lasts for about 35 seconds when I spawn, so you can kind of use that to get behind enemy lines without them noticing you. If you do that, you'll want to make sure your inventory is empty so that you actually are not visible. If I press F5, you can see. So you have these particle effects that only you can see if the enemy team or other players can't see those particle effects. So while you're invisible, but that'll run out fairly quickly. You can't get too far. You can't like get all the way to the opponent's capture point. Alright, so I have blue armor for myself if I want to wear it. The spy is the only team that's allowed to take off their armor. All the other classes have to wear their team's armor and helmet all the time, so that you can tell what class and team they are. It's just part of the rules. But then you get helmets of each color. So white is the spy's color technically, but there's no real reason to wear it because you can disguise yourself as other classes. Like if I want to disguise myself as a Pyro, just wear the orange helmet. And anyone who knows the colors is going to get fooled into thinking I'm a Pyro. And I can even use this iron sword, and that's the exact setup that like right now I look exactly like a blue Pyro, which is kind of cool. I won't deal fire damage and whatever. The swords for the spy are very strong. They're supposed to mimic a like a backstabbing knife, but the protection is really weak. Just protection 1 on the helmets. And they're all the same protection level on all the helmets. When I kill myself, I'll get a fresh set of invisibility, and you'll notice I'm invisible there's nobody in the helmet. So you can take off your armor if you want to really play up on that. Actually, that time I got less invisibility. That's interesting. I haven't really seen that before. Okay, yeah. So that, again, kind of lower invisibility. I'm not really sure why that's happening. Usually it's 35 seconds. But you'll also notice this time I got a set of armor that is red, even though I'm on blue team. Every few times you'll spawn, every like 2 times you spawn or so, you'll get a set of armor that is of the other team's color. So if you want to be sneaky, this is what the spy is all about. You can put on the armor for the other team. Say I put on the Pyro helmet and I'm holding an iron sword. I now look exactly like a Pyro for red, even though I'm on blue team. Which can be confusing for other members on my team, on the blue team, because I'm looking, you know, obviously exactly like somebody on the other team. So they may accidentally start shooting at you because they don't realize you're on their team. But that's kind of a hazard of the spy class. But so you'll look exactly like a red Pyro, but you'll notice all the armor that you get is heavily damaged. It actually only has 1 hit left. If anybody hits you at all, you will the armor will just break. And that's basically how you spy check. If you think somebody is running around with your colored armor, your team's colored armor, and you think that they might be a spy, you just punch them once or twice. In fact, just once. And their armor will fly off if they are a spy. And if they aren't a spy, then their armor will stay there, and you'll just deal, you know, half a heart of damage to them, maybe less. And no big deal. So that's how you spy check, is just punch them. Just capture the points. I'll just capture the remaining points in this match. You'll see time has been added. And man, I look just like a red Pyro. This cape kind of gives me away though, you know, if I choose to be a spy. Cuz like not that many people have the cape. So that's kind of a shame, but all right, so I'm going to capture this final control point. I think I've covered all the features in the game. And blue team wins. Yay. So when you win, it'll just get rid of all of your gear and send you right back to the main spawn for the server. And if you want to start another game, you just press this green button and you got another game going. 2 minutes till the game starts. So the doors open back up here and you can choose your classes. The doors are closed while there isn't a game going, so you can't choose a class or anything. If you have creative mode and you want to spectate, there's a button up here for that. Admin only spectator mode, roof spawn point. Just push this button and it'll put you up here. Your spawn point will move up here too, so that in between rounds when it kills all the players, you'll just spawn right back up here. And this is pretty helpful. One suggestion I would make if you're spectating is to just grab a potion of invisibility and drink that. Did I drink it? Yeah, there we go. So that other players won't see you, and you'll also want to switch away. So I'm in F5 mode right now. You can see other players can still see that potion. So if I just switch away from that, other players won't be able to see me. They can't see the particles. You'll be a lot less distracting to other players. Players won't try and shoot at you by accident and stuff. Of course, you can still block arrows if you do get in the way, so try and stay a little bit out of the way, but this is a really helpful tip for spectating, actually in any game. So just drink this potion every 8 minutes or so, and you'll be good. And that's spectator mode. That's a pretty helpful feature. I think that's pretty much all the features of the map. I really recommend you try this map out if you have a chance. It's actually some of the most fun I've had doing PvP, just because you're able to jump right back in, fully geared. Even if you die, it doesn't really matter that much, because you just, you know, sprint right back up to where the action is and start shooting and swinging your sword again. And there's a lot of variety to the gameplay just because of the different classes. So you can try out all the classes, and that's definitely a lot of fun. And yeah, I really recommend the game. Obviously, you know, I made it along with Hypixel, but I've just gotten so much positive feedback that I think it's really worth trying. So the game's starting here because I pressed that start game button, but no big deal. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say about the map. It's a lot of fun. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.